93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to on buying or selling residential and commercial customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We'll see a slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. It will be another very warm about it. South winds at a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low down to 65. We will continue with a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and stay warm with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll go for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico joining you as usual. Got an exciting day coming up.
This chair is so low. I look so weird.
Every morning.
Look at it. It's so low.
I look like a giant.
It's so low. Chair's so low.
Well,
I know I'm short, but come on, man.
Look at you.
This is rude. Bach.
No. I think it might be Sorensen. Because every morning.
He stands a lot.
He does stand a lot, but every morning. You had to tilt the camera down.
I did. The chair wouldn't go well if I put it up anymore. Then like my knee, like this, the like wood part over here on this side is so far down that like you can't raise the chair up and like get close to the. I'd have to sit back here, and then I have to move the mic over.
Oh
I just didn't want to do that, so
That's awesome.
keep it a little lower, and then you just tilt the camera down a bit.
Well, anyway, I think because when I come in the mornings to do the show at 8 a.m. and I sit in that chair, it's usually pretty low, and I usually have to boost it up a little bit just to make myself look a little bit better.
I'm just a short king. That's
yeah,
all it is.
I don't know. You know, if Rico, if your idea of chair lockers comes to fruition at the new place,
We won't have to worry about it.
You won't have to worry
Roll
about
a chair out, roll a new chair in. This is a great idea.
This is, you know, it was funny during. Are you one of those people, Rico, that gets you overreact when people move your seat in your car?
No.
I don't
because
either.
when I take my car to get fixed somewhere, I'm short, as you all know, obviously. So mine's a little further it's closer to the pedals. Okay. So whenever I take it somewhere, everybody's taller than me. My chair's pushed all the way back. Okay. So one time I didn't even think about it, got in, turned the car on, and I was like, wait a minute, I can't reach these pedals. That is scoop my chair forward real quick. Felt like a little kid. I was like,
Well, so the reason I ask is because, and I hope my dad's listening, my father gets over the top pissed off
Papa Sainer
when we move his seat in his truck or when we move his rear view mirror. He gets in, and the first thing every single time that he says is, somebody move my seat.
402-464-5685.
He gets so frustrated. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? Not be comfortable? I'm not supposed to tailor it to where I need it to be.
So my rule when I get in somebody else's car, unless I literally cannot drive, I do not move their stuff.
I have to.
Unless I literally cannot drive. If I'm up on the steering wheel or if I'm too far back and I can't reach the pedals, I will not touch their stuff. Even then, I will sit on the edge of the seat
So
to not move people's things because I know how annoyed people get when things like that happen, and I don't like as long as it's safe for me, not touching the mirrors. I'm not doing it.
I have to because I'm one of those also people. This is the last thing before we actually start talking sports. I don't sit up perfectly straight when I drive. I sit comfortably, and
You
so
get a little
I
lean
slouch.
back?
I slouch a little bit, and so I don't sit as just straight up
Mhm.
as my father does, and he gets so frustrated
Can he
with
tell
us.
if it's like half an inch?
Yes. And it's like this whole marathon to try to get it back to where it exactly needs to be. And only he knows. I can try to move it back. Like there's been times where I'll move it, and then before I get out for the last time, I'll move it back.
You're like, let me see if I can get this right.
And then I'll get a phone call. It's like, hey, did you move my seat? I'm like, why are we calling? You can't just move it.
No,
You know what? You have to call me and tell me
Just
that
gotta-
you know that I moved your seat.
just gotta let you know.
Thank you. But anyway, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Nathan says, darn right, at least put it back where I had my seat and mirrors. Chase B says, when my fiance has to drive my car, she's Rico's height, so the seat is always pushed up, but I always forget about it. So when I get in my car, I smack my knees on the steering wheel.
It happens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose so. All right, let's talk some TV times because I know you and Bach kind of talked some things in the water cooler, but some new ones have been announced just in the last 10 minutes or so. So here's the rundown. First game of the year for Nebraska is on the road at Minnesota. That is announced as a 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff, and it will be on Fox. And so that's a Thursday, I believe, if I remember correctly, to where on August 31st, it'll be Matt Rule versus PJ Fleck, and that will be on Fox. Rico,
Yes.
Minnesota is a real inexperienced team this year. And Austin and I were kind of talking back while you guys were on the air, you and Bach, that is, that one other thing is Minnesota's defensive line coach goes to Purdue.
Yes.
It's more of a case if you're looking at a coach, are you taking Matt Rule or are you taking PJ Fleck? Because there's a whole lot of unknowns surrounding these two programs. Obviously, Nebraska, you guys know why. Minnesota, you graduate the grandpa quarterback Tanner Morgan and the grandpa running back Mo Ibrahim. You don't have Trey Potts anymore because he went to the transfer portal at the running back position. And so you bring in Kaliak Manis, and he is the full-time starter now for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. They graduate their very old and experienced offensive line. And one thing I will say about PJ Fleck is that he's 4-0 in bowl games while at Minnesota. 4-0 in bowl games while at Minnesota. And if you are taking a coach in that game, if you had to say, all right, this is going to be a game between coaches, right? Are you taking Matt Rule or are you taking PJ Fleck on August 31st at 7 p.m. on Fox?
I'm taking PJ Fleck.
Okay.
Matt Rule has been out of the college game for 2 years. PJ Fleck has built it with Minnesota into a pretty respectable team, albeit not a consistent top 25 team. They have had some flirtations in the top 25. Even if you don't like the guy, even if you think he's annoying and standoffish and sloganeering and whatever you want to say about him, the dude can coach football. Well, the dude is loved by all of his players.
Except for the one.
There's the one guy
that tried to get him fired.
There's the one guy. And as you said, he's 4-0 in bowl games. He's finished, I believe, over 500 in every season at Minnesota. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe that'd be one or two.
So his first year in 2017, the year that he designated as year 0. In 2017, when he got there, PJ Fleck went 5-7. Then he followed it up with a 7-6 year in 2018 with a quick lane bowl victory. Then it was the 2019 11-2 year where they finished 10th in the AP poll that year. They got to as high as 7th in the country. And then it was in this order, I guess. They started the year at 19th in the country. They went 3-4. Then they went 9-4 and 9-4. But you'll remember that 2020 year, the 3-4 record,
They
that was
didn't
when they
have-
had like 30 players.
They didn't have anybody.
and they came into Memorial Stadium and beat Nebraska.
Yeah, they didn't have anybody on that team. So that year, it counts obviously because it counts for everybody. But I throw that one out there. So he's been under 500 one time in his coaching career at Minnesota. I think he's a fantastic coach. I do think he is slightly annoying, and I would love to beat him. But in terms of taking,
we want the broken chair trophy.
yeah, I love that trophy.
We want the we want the $5 bits of
of
broken chair trophy.
I love that trophy so much. But in terms of who would I take this first game, Matt Rule coming off of his 2 years in the NFL and hasn't been in the college game for a while, and a new coaching staff getting together and trying to install a new system and all of that with all these transfer players and what have you. I'm going to take the guy who's been with this team for a while, has a quarterback that he trusts in after finally being rid of old man Tanner Morgan, and an offense and a defense that seems to have been going really well for him, albeit you're losing a bunch of weapons on the offensive side. I still think that he'll be able to get the best out of them. Do I think Minnesota's going to win? I'm not going to go into that right now. That's for another time. But in terms of coaching, I believe that I would take PJ Fleck over Matt Rule in this first one at least.
So that once again, the Minnesota game kicked off at 7 p.m. on that Thursday night on Fox. That's going to be a really fun and exciting 2 days for just Nebraska fans of all sports, because obviously on August 30th, you have Volleyball Day in Nebraska at Memorial Stadium, the concert that nobody's really worried about, still waiting. Hopefully in the next week, we'll probably hear about that.
They said, what did he say, earlier mid-June that they would announce it?
I would assume that by the end of the first week of June, we'd know.
Honestly, if they came out and said there's no concert, I don't think people would care.
But they also announced, while we're on the Volleyball Day in Nebraska, that extra tickets are now available, standing room on the field, which makes me wonder.
Are you upset?
Are you a little mad?
If you bought tickets across the stadium, are you upset?
I think you would be.
But you have to stand the whole time.
It's okay. There's a very good chance that you're standing for a good chunk of it anyway.
That is true.
Because you're standing. If people need to look,
okay,
they're standing up.
But
if they need to really zoom in.
More important question. Food and drinks, are they allowed on the field?
That's questionable.
I don't think so.
That's fine. I wouldn't want to pay concession stand prices anyway.
I mean, you don't want to, but you like if you're going and you're there for that long, you're probably going to. I don't think food and drinks are going to be allowed down there. So I would say that I think the seats are still better. And again, honestly, just you haven't announced the concert already.
They're doing
it's
a
sold
concert.
out. You're bringing in more standing room. You're getting close to 91,000 seats. Butts and seats, people in the stadium. I was trying to think of how I was going to say it. There's butts and seats and there's people standing. I don't know. You're getting close to 91,000 people in the stadium. I don't think they care about the concert. Just cancel it, put it in the middle of the field. You're good to go.
I'm sorry, but they're going to have
I mean,
concert.
they're going to.
So then.
But at this point,
they're going to have a concert.
402-464-5685. If Trev Alberts came out June 15th and said, hey, for Volleyball Day in Nebraska, no concert, just volleyball, would you be upset? I don't think a lot of people would. I'm going to make that a Twitter poll question.
You know where I stand on this.
I know you do.
You know where I stand on this.
Because you love concerts.
I think the concert, number one, with having 90,000+ people in the stands, you're going to be able to draw a pretty decent name, I think. And in addition, I guess on the other side of it,
maybe they didn't have the concert lined up before. Now they're actually trying.
They're like, oh crap, we actually we're actually having fans here, so
that's not that we're gonna get any.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the football scheduling times. The following week, the week 2 game against the Colorado Buffaloes might ruffle some feathers for some people. It is an 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff on Fox. It is Fox's big noon kickoff that week, which means that if you're going to Boulder, it'll be a 10 a.m. kickoff their local time in Boulder, Colorado.
Sounds great.
There's going to be a lot of frustrated people, I think, with this game because it's not going to give them an opportunity, well, unless you're truly dedicated, I suppose, to get up, tailgate, hang out with the rest of the fans before you got to go into the stadium.
Oh, you can. 7 a.m.
And at the end of the day, after that game, if Nebraska, for example, isn't able to get the best of Colorado and they fall in week 2's game against the Buffaloes,
that's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a long day. And I'm not so sure they're going to want to be out and about in Boulder after that.
You have all day to hang out in Colorado.
But on the flip side,
in your Nebraska gear,
after
possibly losing to Colorado.
On the flip side, if Nebraska is able to go into Boulder, then this will work out really well.
You get to hang out in Colorado all day.
Nebraska fans are going to be flooding the streets in
your
Boulder,
Nebraska gear
and there might be some issues.
after possibly beating Colorado.
there may be some issues.
Either way, you're going to be in Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to
In
be
your
in
Nebraska
in
gear.
your Nebraska gear. So, yeah, Rico, a lot of people are on your side. No need to pay for an act. Let
See?
the volleyball team and athletic department keep all the money.
Let all 4 volleyball programs keep all the money. You don't need
Yeah.
to pay a concert. You don't need to pay somebody to play a concert.
Yeah. Bo Lever, shout out to your son. He says, Bo Lever says, someone has been out of school for a few weeks. We listened to the ticket on the way to school. My 10-year-old said, turn on the ticket when we got in the car just a minute ago. Shout out to Bo Lever, Bo Lever Jr. Believer Jr. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys listening all day long.
I hope this is your new favorite show.
I hope so too.
You're welcome.
Let's get through the rest of these here really quickly. On September 16th, Northern Illinois, 6 p.m. Central Time on Fox Sports 1. Feels like Northern Illinois, it's always a night game. Always is one of those that Nebraska kind of just scrapes on by.
Nebraska first night
nervous.
game. 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. We still doing it? We got the fire?
Ooh.
We got the light show? We got the
Do
video?
they change songs?
I like the song.
I feel like you got to change something up with it, unfortunately. Not sure you want to do
if you
something.
want to, well, if you
This is
want to
a new-
make it a
new-
tradition,
This is a new era of Nebraska football.
if you want to make it a tradition, it doesn't matter about the era. They still do the tunnel walk.
They're going to do the tunnel walk from a different area. A
They
different
are.
side,
Oh
though.
no, maybe it is a new
It's
era.
a new era. It's a new era.
Son of a gun. You're right. Okay, change the song.
Change the song.
They changed Herbie too. Dang it.
With that being said, I hope Herbie does come out on a motorcycle every game.
I hope they get rid of his cheek pimples. That's
What
it.
if that's like room for them to breathe?
For the no, what? For the person inside?
Yeah.
No, the
Just
mouth
airflow.
is room for them to breathe. I
Okay.
think they're
Airflow.
looking out of the mouth, aren't they?
Little Red looks out
Of, like,
the
his
little,
belly.
the chest,
Yeah.
the sternum area.
I'm pretty well. You have to be decently tall
Yeah.
to be Herbie. I
Yeah.
think it's because the head is massive. I'm pretty sure they're looking out of the mouth. We're not doing the
We're not
mascot
doing
talk
this
again.
right
Keep
now.
going.
Okay, October 6th, they will travel to Champaign
Mhm.
and face the Fighting Illini at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. So now that is, well, obviously a little less than a month apart, 3 weeks apart. Fox Sports 1 will be the home of a Nebraska football game.
Nebraska playing on FS1 a decent amount.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not
2 games there.
CBS, but
It's not. October
it's
28th.
not Big Ten Network.
October 28th. We don't know the TV network quite yet, but we have a time against the Purdue Boilermakers. It'll be 11 a.m., 2:30 p.m., or 3 p.m.
That's not
Doesn't tell you anything.
helpful at all.
But 11 a.m. you would assume probably Big Ten network
More than likely.
because Fox won't probably elect Purdue, especially if you look at Purdue's schedule.
They have a hard schedule, don't they?
Very difficult. Where
Unless Purdue and Nebraska are doing really good, and then they flex that to Big Noon.
they could.
2 first-year head coaches
Let me
battling it out
let me tell you Purdue's schedule here, Rico.
for the middle of the Big Ten West.
Fresno State at home, at
Okay.
Virginia Tech, Syracuse. By the way, that Syracuse game on week 3 is on NBC.
What is Purdue trying to be in the ACC?
Syracuse versus Purdue is on NBC. 2:30 kickoff on September 16th.
You want to watch that one?
No. Then it's
I'll watch it.
there is a significant chance that Purdue doesn't win a conference game until November 18th.
My birthday.
The second to last game. And it's because their Big Ten conference schedule lines up like this.
Mhm.
Wisconsin,
Loss.
Illinois,
Loss.
Iowa,
Loss.
Ohio State,
Big loss.
at Nebraska,
Possible loss.
at Michigan,
Loss.
Minnesota.
Loss.
And then it's Northwestern, which they'll beat. They'll
Win.
beat Northwestern.
Maybe.
Indiana at home.
2 wins.
So it's dicey for Purdue there.
What if Pat Fitzgerald turns it around?
With Ben Bryant, the former Cincinnati quarterback.
Yeah, man. It's
Yeah,
only
maybe.
like the 3rd year in a row that we've said this. Remember when Pat Fitzgerald didn't have back-to-back bad years? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pat Fitzgerald. I said it. Pat Fitzgerald. Fat Pat.
He's not fat.
He's
Like that's
not
the,
fat
the
at
dude is
all.
muscular.
But we always mess up whether it's you or me.
It's
We-
it's
there's
just
always
his name.
one.
Pat Fitzgerald. Like it's just you just switched a letter. It's
Pat
whatever.
Fitzgerald. Yeah, so he was getting NFL looks potentially too a couple years ago. And then last but not least, Rico, there's a special element to this. And this one comes on Black Friday against the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yes.
And it will be played at 11 a.m. on the CBS network.
Love it.
Do we have the music?
We do.
Let's go ahead and this is what you hear on Black Friday. Coming to you from Lincoln, Nebraska. It's the Hy-Vee Heroes game.
Is it still Hy-Vee?
Is it Shields now?
I think it is Shields.
Shields Heroes game.
Yeah, I think it's Shields. You want to start over?
No, I don't. So the Shields Heroes game between the Iowa Hawkeyes.
The trophy's at
And
the
the
Shields, or at least it was.
Is it really at the?
It was at the Shields in Lincoln.
It's like the one where it just passes around between the Iowa Shields or the Nebraska Shields.
Yeah. I don't know
Nice.
if it's still there. I don't know if it goes like to Shields around the state, but it was there. I don't remember when. It was around a little bit after Christmas time. We were in
Gotcha.
Shields, and it was just like there. Like it was up. Nobody could touch it, but it was up above like some of the Nebraska jerseys for sale.
Yeah.
And I pointed up and I go, I think that's the real trophy. Like there was no like glitz or glamour. Like it was just there.
When I was in Iowa City that day, I remember, so at the end of the game, obviously the Nebraska media contingent like kind of like huddled around the trophy with like on Iowa's final drive, and Nebraska had to run the entire length of the field to go get the trophy or whatever. And they like come rushing over, and there's I don't forget how he looked. There were Iowa football fans holding on to the trophy so that Nebraska, and I believe Miles Farmer was the guy to grab the trophy for Nebraska, so that they could not grab the trophy. So it was literal tug of war with Iowa football fans and Miles Farmer and Garrett Nelson.
Yep.
And obviously the football players ended up winning.
Miles Farmer and Garrett Nelson are going to win that fight
So-
10 out of 10
so,
times.
Anyway, so that was a fun evening though. And then the next day you had a head coach.
There you
So
go. Chase B says it's still there.
oh, perfect.
It's still there. We seen a trophy that looked exactly like it the other day. So yeah, it's definitely at the Shields in Lincoln.
We also got a question earlier. Do you guys think Nebraska fans are sick and tired of 11 a.m. games?
I mean, they might be, but I'm not. I like 11 a.m. games as long as the only issue I have with 11 a.m. games the last couple of years is that Nebraska keeps losing, and that just ruins the rest of the
entire
day. Because then you want to watch college football, but you're like, my team lost, and you know, a 2:30 game is pretty good. 6 p.m. games are fun in terms of playing under the lights and all that stuff. But I just don't like, having to wait all day to get to those 6 p.m. games. I like 11 a.m. and 2:30. I think those are perfect. I love the 11 a.m. games so long as Nebraska wins and I can enjoy the rest of my day.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what's I would say is when you look at the potential matchups, Nebraska's not scheduling like an Alabama or a Texas or
Well, Alabama and Texas played at 2:30.
They played at 11 last year because Fox Big Noon had it.
Oh yeah. You think they do it again this year? No, because it's at Alabama. It's gonna be ESPN.
At Alabama. It's ESPN. So Texas at Alabama, by the way, 6 p.m. Central Time on ESPN on September 9th. But
that's gonna be a good one.
Which that's the same weekend as Nebraska, Colorado.
Yeah. So you get to watch Nebraska beat Colorado
and
early in the day.
Texas at Alabama that night.
And then you get to watch whatever game happens in the middle of the day, and then you get to watch Alabama, Texas.
Yeah. So anyway, when you look at matchups and stuff, that's why Nebraska's playing Northern Illinois at 6 p.m. or Illinois at 7 p.m. is because you don't have a game against, I suppose, Oklahoma, or you don't have a game against just other top programs that maybe a network would be like, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Even like a Nebraska, Arkansas, right? Another Power 5 program to be specific. There's no Nebraska, Stanford.
Nebraska, Arkansas would be an interesting game.
That would be fun. I would like to make a trip down to Fayetteville again. Fayetteville is fun. But either way, a couple of the other ones that just to kind of let you guys know of, week 1 games, the first game to be on CBS as part of their Big Ten CBS package comes to you from Piscataway, New Jersey.
Love it.
Northwestern at Rutgers at 11 a.m. Central Time on week 1 on CBS. Other game on week 1 is West Virginia at Penn State. That one will be at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on NBC. So,
Are you watching that Northwestern Rutgers game?
absolutely, just a presentation on CBS.
100%.
Absolutely. That first week of games, some interesting ones on ESPN's family networks. Florida at Utah is at 7 p.m. on August 31st. I believe that'd be a Friday. That'd be
Utah?
on 7 p.m. at Utah. Florida at Utah. Then on that Saturday, it's Virginia, Tennessee at 11, Arkansas State at Oklahoma at 11, Boise State at Washington, UNC versus South Carolina, and LSU versus Florida State. That'll be the check to see if Florida State's legit or not.
I like that one.
Because the Florida State team, obviously they're getting recognized up there as well, but you don't know how stable of ground Mike Norvell is on either.
Mhm.
So
Mike Norvell's just in the weirdest situation.
he is, especially now that Deion Sanders has like emerged as a Power 5 coach.
Well,
Power 5.
maybe.
He's on a Power 5 level now.
Yeah.
So that makes the Florida State possibility even that much more real, I think. And in addition,
Do they hire? We'll get into it later.
we were
have
also
to get
we were also talking about Willie Taggart earlier.
Yes.
Do you know where Willie Taggart's at right now?
Oh,
He is not in the college game. He is an NFL assistant coach,
then no.
running backs coach for the Baltimore Ravens. That is where, after Willie Taggart got fired from Florida Atlantic, Tom Herman ended up taking over. Casey Thompson, now the starting quarterback.
South Florida. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Because that's where he was before Oregon.
You're right.
That's where Willie Taggart.
Is Charlie Strong still at South Florida?
No way. No, because isn't Dilfer
No, he's at
He's
an
at
Alabama school.
UAB.
Yeah.
Charlie Strong?
Please tell me Charlie Strong's still at South Florida.
Head coach of South. Oh, no, just kidding.
Dang it!
He is now the.
What's
I don't
happening?
think he's coaching.
Oh man.
I don't think he's coaching anymore. Because his Wikipedia page says more recently, Charles Renee Strong
Okay.
is an American football coach who was most recently the co-defensive coordinator at the University of Miami, which makes it sound like he is no longer the co-defensive coordinator for the University of Miami. So Charlie
like
Strong's
Charlie.
day is done.
I want Charlie
here it
Strong in
is.
Nebraska.
Just kidding. CBS Sports, March 1st, 2023, by Tom Fernelli. Alabama hires former Texas Louisville coach Charlie Strong as defensive analyst.
Heck yeah.
So he is at Alabama.
Back in the game, baby.
There it is, Charlie Strong. All right, let's take a break. We come back. We'll talk Keisei Tominaga, his decision that's going to be coming prior to midnight tonight. So we're just kind of waiting around for the final word from the sharpshooter Keisei Tominaga himself. And we'll talk about that coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Receipt. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying and selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben with Professional Realty at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Celebrate the start of June in style with two great drinking events in Lincoln. First, this Friday, come down to Beer House's grand opening as they show off their expansion to double the size of their building. The party starts at 3 p.m. with live polka music starting at 7. And on Saturday, make plans to head on over to Sideshow Spirits and Cider for the first annual Nebraska Whiskey Carnival. Enjoy local Nebraska distilleries and their spirits, food vendors, and more. Event starts at 3 p.m. Buy your tickets ahead of time at sidespirits.com. Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Brian, Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneer Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
McMurphy has Nebraska in the Las Vegas Bowl. That would be incredible. That would be absolutely amazing. Here's when the Vegas Bowl is. It's before Christmas. It is so easy to get to Las Vegas for Nebraska fans. There's now a direct flight from Lincoln via Redway, the new at Lincoln Airport. Omaha has direct flight. Grand Island has direct flights to Vegas.
It would be flooded with Nebraska.
It would be awesome.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an assistance program, other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Spring is here and it's time to get those seeds in the ground. There's time for delays if your equipment needs a new part. That's why Acres stocks thousands of premium John Deere parts for all your ag machines. Planters, sprayers, and tractors. Acres has what you need now. And the team of John Deere certified technicians, Acres will diagnose and repair your equipment quickly. Visit acres.com to find your closest location. Our team of parts and service professionals are dedicated to keeping you operating at full capacity. Acres. Solutions for every field.
Attention, Lincoln. Looking for an effective way to reach the fitness goals you haven't been able to accomplish on your own? Body Fit Training science-based programming is led by multiple highly accredited coaches who will help you get the results you're capable of. Their group strength training classes are designed to help you build muscle, burn fat, and improve your overall fitness level. At BFT Lincoln, you'll train like an athlete and be surrounded by motivated and like-minded individuals. For May only, get 1 week of classes for just $7 by visiting bodyfittraining.com.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build a career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
A gorilla bear versus polar bear.
A what bear versus what bear?
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
A gorilla bear versus a polar bear.
One more time.
Gorilla versus a polar bear.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So, perhaps in just as important news or more important news than Keisei Tominaga returning,
This is the most important news that you have told me all day.
there is no longer a Cheez-It Bowl.
It's like the third most important news I've heard all year.
What's the first two?
My promotion
Okay, there's one. And my promotion.
and Oleg Trichy.
Oh, no. Wyoming Cowboys, Oleg Koyanets.
My guy.
Anyway, there's no longer a Cheez-It Bowl. It is now the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
I am upset and not upset.
So Yeah, I look up Pop-Tarts Bowl, and the first headline that shows up is Pop-Tarts intercepts college football's fandom with first ever Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yes. I love this so much.
Now,
there's only one issue with it.
Okay.
And that is that the Big Ten cannot play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
That's right.
It is an ACC and Big 12 bowl.
It is.
And that breaks my heart into a million tiny miniature bite-sized Pop-Tart pieces.
In the Pop-Tart bites. The Pop-Tarts Bowl logo is actually really good. I really like the Pop-Tarts Bowl logo.
It looks like a wild berry Pop-Tart.
It's going to be played in Orlando, Florida on December 28th at 5:45 p.m. at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando. So it says this year's Pop-Tarts Bowl will be the 34th edition of the game, but the first time that Pop-Tarts has sponsored an NCAA college football bowl game.
They really missed an opportunity here.
The game is organized by Florida Citrus Sports.
They really missed an opportunity here. Pop-Tarts originated in Cleveland, Ohio.
So they should have played it.
You should have played it in Cleveland. I understand it's December and it's probably cold, but you got to do it.
See, but now here's the more important thing. Cheez-It.
There's no such thing as Cheez-Its.
Cheez-It is still a part of college football's postseason circuit.
Yes, they are.
They are the sponsor of the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, also organized by Florida Citrus Sports and held at Camping World Stadium. The 78th Cheez-It Citrus Bowl will kick off at 1 p.m. on New Year's Day. So tickets to both games are available through Florida Citrus Sports and will go on sale to the public after teams are selected on Sunday, December 3rd. Mark and I were talking.
Somebody in the text line, Gorilla Bear, says Kellogg's. You saw the text that I was laughing at. Gorilla Bear says, plot twist, Kellogg's owns Pop-Tarts and Cheez-It so they can switch it back and forth. They could, but Pop-Tart is a much better. You already sponsored the Citrus Bowl.
Kellogg's is making the money.
Isn't there a Tony the Tiger Bowl?
Not anymore.
Oh, did they kill Tony the Tiger too?
Tony the Tiger is dead. Tony the Tiger Bowl. It's the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
There it is.
December 29th, 2023.
Let me guess. The same group?
This is not a bowl game.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because
what?
It is not a bowl game. This is different. It says El Paso High School's Jones Stadiums with the El Paso All-Stars defeating Ranger 25-21.
That's not what I watched.
Don't think that's right. Unless that's the first game ever played in the Sun Bowl. But either way, yes, there is a Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe you're right.
I'm okay with that.
So Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, there's a lot of other things going on as well. But more importantly, while we have a couple minutes here, because we could go down the laundry list of bowl games for forever.
They're great and some are wrong.
The PlayStation, or not the PlayStation, the VRBO Fiesta Bowl.
Yep.
Verbo Fiesta Bowl is at 11 a.m. now.
Weird.
So that's something to be kind of mindful of.
Not a fan of that.
So once again, the Pop-Tarts Bowl between the Big 12 ACC. Mark and I were talking. They should just have at-large bids to every bowl game.
The amount of
instead of conference tie-ins.
Yeah, the amount of at-large bowl games that have gone to conference tie-ins saddens me.
Because there's some
you get fun matchups.
Having the mystery would kind of be interesting. I mean, Nebraska could play. I don't know, whatever.
Nebraska plays Vanderbilt. I don't know.
Well, Vanderbilt might not make it.
Look, I'm just trying to think of teams that Nebraska hasn't played in a while or at all. When's the last time Nebraska played Vanderbilt? Couldn't tell you. When's the last time Nebraska played
this could be interesting.
Boston College?
Winsipedia says that Nebraska and Vanderbilt have never played.
There it is.
So, nice job, Rico. Way to go to the well for that one.
You're welcome.
All right, so Keisei Tominaga worked out with the Pacers yesterday. I think there's still a confidence around him returning to Nebraska. The ship of him playing overseas, I don't want to say it sailed because I think the opportunity is still there, but the worry the worry around him going to play internationally back in Japan, I feel like that has kind of sailed. So now it's like the NBA draft or Nebraska are the two options for Keisei, at least at this point in the timeline. And Keisei, his only NBA workout has been with the Pacers. Now, the Pacers do hold 5 NBA draft picks on draft night. But if the Pacers are the only team to bring Keisei in for a workout that we know of, how confident are you entering and staying in the NBA draft knowing that you've only worked out with one team?
One team that's looking at you serious enough to actually bring you in for a workout. In terms of Keisei returning, put my confidence meter at a crisp 9.5.
Okay.
Just because he's only worked out for one team. I understand that his skill set, and somebody said, there are guys who are 6'9" who can shoot just as well as he can. I agree with you, but also disagree with you. The man shot 40% from 3 last year. And if you look at the NBA statistics, there are a decent amount of players who shot 40% from 3, but there are also a decent amount of players in that top, however many, I didn't want to count because there was a decent amount, that are under 6'3". So it's not like they're putting these guys out there and saying, hey, you're going to guard the best guy. They put them out there for their offensive abilities. Keisei has shown that he has high enough ball handling skills and ability to create for himself in playing in the 3v3 tournaments in the Olympics for Team Japan and a couple instances with Nebraska. That could be something that they want him to work on more if he does return to Nebraska for another season. And I know the defensive worries just because of his size would be another thing that teams are going to would like him to work on if he does come back to Nebraska. But in terms of offensive capability and shooting ability, he is more than ready to go into the NBA and not be a high level contributor, but be a contributor on a team that, needs some scoring in a pinch or somebody to come off the bench and provide them with some type of lift in a short minutes situation. I think that he's more than capable of being a spark plug for a team, whether it be, I don't see it be happening in his first year, but a couple years down the line. So to me, him returning for another year of college just to improve upon that would be beneficial for him. And by improve upon that, I mean his ball handling and playmaking abilities.
So what's interesting is when you look at, I guess, just like average height in the NBA. Now, obviously, some are going to keep it unbalanced, I suppose. But if you look at like shooting guards, it feels like 6'4" is kind of that threshold for a shooting guard. Anywhere from like 6'1" to 6'3" a lot of times is point guard, I suppose.
I mean, they're getting taller.
They're getting taller as they are.
You've got a bunch of 6'6", 6'5" point guards now in the NBA. But if you're going back to traditional roles and traditional basketball roles, 6'1" to 6'3" is your point guard. 6'2" to like 6'4", 6'5" would be around shooting guard height. Like he's going to be a little bit shorter in terms of the growth that NBA players are showing, or the height that NBA players are showing nowadays, the guys that they have lining up at the 1 and the 2. He's going to be a little bit shorter, but there are guys in the NBA who are around his height who are still playing at a high enough level.
You're right. So Keisei stands at 6'2", 175 pounds right now. As Rico said, shot 40% from beyond the arc, and in 25 minutes per game in 2022 and 2023, in his second season with the Huskers, that is, averaged 13.1 points per game and shot 50.3% from field goal, or from the field just in general. A big one that, in addition, that Nebraska would be nice to get back if Keisei decides to return to the Huskers, free throw shooting, right? Shot 87% or around 87% last season for the Huskers. You felt really confident in Keisei Tominaga going to the line. And
at one point,
that's somewhere that Nebraska always needs help at. It always needs to improve.
20-something in a row, didn't he?
I believe. I think so.
I don't remember the exact number. He hit a lot of free throws in a row.
So anyway, I mean, you look at the percentages and how much time and how important he was to Nebraska's roster. And now in a year, as you move forward, that you lose Derek Walker, your captain, right? That's been here since the beginning with Fred Hoiberg, Sam Griesel, who came back and really not only steadied the culture, but established a new type of culture with the help of Derek Walker. We always talk how Sam Griesel was a big player in that, and no doubt he was. But Derek Walker also did that by staying around for as many years as he did. So in a year where you lose those two guys, you lose Emmanuel Bandamel, who was experienced as well. You missed out on a couple potential recruits throughout the offseason. Getting a guy like Keisei Tominaga back would be extremely valuable, not only for what he can do off the court or on the court and his sharp shooting ability, but just also just having a guy that's been here for what would be his third year in 2024. So let's go ahead and take our final timeout. Side note on that, Keisei has until midnight tonight, I believe, to make the decision on whether or not he wants to withdraw or stay in the conversation for the NBA draft and return to Nebraska. So let's go ahead and take our final timeout. We'll wrap up Wednesday's show coming up next with Strick and Austin right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Y'all feeling lucky? Luke Combs here, and I have an exclusive opportunity for you to win $500,000 by joining me in the Living Lucky with Luke Combs lottery experience. When it rains, it pours for lucky fans and lottery players who enter to win chance of a lifetime. Join me in Nashville for a private concert at the iconic Ryman Auditorium in 2024. One lucky will have the chance to walk away with $500,000 at the end of the show.
Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs ticket. Top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Spring is here and it's time to get those seeds in the ground. There's no time for delays. Equipment needs a new part. That's why Acres stocks thousands of premium John Deere parts for all your ag machines. Planters, sprayers, and tractors. Acres has what you need now. And with a team of John Deere certified technicians, Acres will diagnose and repair your equipment quickly. Visit acres.com to find your closest location. Our team of parts and service professionals are dedicated to keeping you operating at full capacity. Solutions for every field.
Hey, it's Glenn Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time with nutrition. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
General contractors, business owners, property owners. The success of your business requires doing business with the right people. And the right people, when it comes to drywall, acoustical ceilings, and specialty products, are at Premier Drywall. Kevin and his crew will give your project the response and attention it deserves.
You'll get all of the attention to detail and quality that you would expect from someone who's been in the business for 30 years. For your new builds, build-outs, or renovations, reach out to Kevin. Kevin at PremierDW.com. Premier Drywall in Lincoln.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and colorful annuals. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Celebrate the start of June in style with 2 great drinking events in Lincoln. First, this Friday, come down to Beer House's grand opening as they show off their expansion to double the size of their building. The party starts at 3 p.m. with live folk music starting at 7. And on Saturday, make plans to head on over to Sideshow Spirits and Cider for the first annual Nebraska Whiskey Carnival. Enjoy local Nebraska distilleries and their spirits, food vendors, and more. Event starts at 3 p.m. Buy your tickets ahead of time at SideshowSpirits.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We'll see a slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. It will be another very warm day as we'll top out at 89. South winds at 10 to 15. A slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low down to 65. We will continue with a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and stay warm with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Even before you start. That was a preemptive shh.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I already had someone created in my image. He's evil, he wants to take over the world, and he fits easily into most overhead storage bins.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Rico, and now Austin Orman joins us. Is Strick on stream?
Strick is on stream.
Strick
You'll
is
see
on
him
stream.
on the TV in like
Beautiful.
2 seconds.
Beautiful. Hello, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Wonderful. How are you guys?
Great.
Doing
Stricky,
great.
you hanging in there?
Stricky's hanging in there. Just
stuff.
representing the Huskers. Yeah.
Nice.
I have a business trip in Utah, man. So it was easier to come from here than it was to go from Omaha, which is crazy.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Guys, a little bit of local baseball news, if you will. Mike Bovey, the third baseman for the Omaha Mavericks baseball team, who hit .401 this season, is now in the portal. Now, what's interesting is it's definitely a leverage move, right? It's one of those where you go to the draft. He's ranked the 40th best prospect in the Major League Baseball draft, according to D1 Baseball, where it's, hey, pay me enough so I don't go to this SEC school that says they'll take me.
And pays me more than you would have.
Yeah, and pays me more in NIL.
Yeah, I think I think that this could end up Nebraska. No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to go to Nebraska. If he does end up transferring, you're right. It's going to be to an SEC school that's going to be able to showcase his skills on ESPN day after day and night after night. He's not going to go to a Big Ten school that gets a nationally televised game once a year.
Yeah, dang it. It's against Penn State. All the way on towards
Hey,
the
you
end
had
of the
the
year.
Creighton one too on CBS Sports.
That's
Network.
right. You did have the Creighton one on CBS Sports Network, but it's always funny when those ESPN television schedules come out, and it's like you're searching and you're navigating, you're trying to find Nebraska, and it's like Nebraska versus Illinois, which it was 2 years ago, and then it's Nebraska versus Penn State on this one, and they don't even fly their broadcasters out anymore.
You're like, yeah, we made it, and they're all sitting at home, and they're wearing like the suit tops, but they're definitely wearing like swim shorts on the
100%.
bottom. They're like, as soon as this game is over, I'm jumping in a pool.
Was it John Clayton? Mom, where my pizza roll?
the hair pulled back into the ponytail.
It was just as bad like in the 2021 Fayetteville regional, because it was that one guy doing all the games. And so when I posted the video a couple days ago of Jake Buns, who now is in the portal, spiking the pitch, and Arkansas scoring a run in the bottom of the 8th inning to go up 3-2, and then the very next hitter just demolishing the baseball over the left field wall for a 3-run homer. When I posted that video, I just remembered that guy's voice and how it wasn't like it was bad. It wasn't a bad announcer. Like, he wasn't bad. Just the presentation wasn't great because it was so obvious that he was not in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like when the announcers are not in the venue, it's tough. It's so difficult.
I do have a question for you guys, though, real quick. Like, all of you, like, what is your thoughts about how Nebraska season went? You know, there was a lot of success from individual players. Sometimes you had the pitching staff step up. Some good wins, some bad ones. I really just want your thoughts on how you felt the baseball season went coming off of last year.
I mean, I think I don't want to be too harsh because I don't want to make it sound like it should be easy to win in the Big Ten Conference. I think it was a missed opportunity. I think that's an okay way to categorize it for me. You have two, I don't know, Austin, top 8 round draft picks on your team. Top 5 round.
Maybe.
I don't know how much Bryce Matthews' defense hurts him in draft picks. I don't know. So that's why I think I expanded that a little larger. But
athleticism might help.
Athleticism and obviously the bat, right? Yeah. And Max Anderson, who had an incredible Big Ten tournament, right? And just an incredible season overall hitting. I don't know. I think if you feel like if your pitching would have been able to help you out just a little bit more, you might have won a lot more midweek games and won some more games. I think you look at some of the games they lost and they're losing 12-8 and they're losing 13-9. And
16-16
it's
tie.
like, yeah, it's like, dang, in a baseball game, especially at the collegiate level, more often than not, you would like to think that 6 runs would be able to win you a baseball game or 8 runs would be able to win you a baseball game. And unfortunately, time after time, Nebraska would lose games that were approaching double digits. And it's like you could score and it would be frustrating because they could hit well, but unfortunately they couldn't get anybody. They couldn't get a reliable arm out of the bullpen. And now next year, one of your more reliable arms that was this year in Corbin Hawkins is now going to be retiring from baseball.
I'm going to categorize it as a mild disappointment.
Okay.
Maybe looking back, it shouldn't be as surprising as I think. If you told me Nebraska would have lost in the Big Ten semis at the start of the year, okay, yeah, that's probably fine. But I'd also tell you they're probably in line for an NCAA tournament bid. So
yeah.
It strikes me as a step forward record-wise, but maybe a step back program-wise because of all the turnover, because of all the guys they had to bring in, and now all the guys they're losing. Yeah. Think about the guys that made that NCAA, tournament. They made that regional in Arkansas. That was a program. Those were guys that had been there for a while. And now you're losing a lot of those mainstays. So you kind of have to rebuild the program aspect of it, even though the record and the end of the season result got better than it was last year.
I think also to just kind of build off of that, you're going to have to find a lot of new roles next year, right? You obviously are losing your 2 middle infielders in Max and Bryce, and Dylan Carey, who spent most of the year at third base, is kind of going to slide over into that shortstop role. And I think there's a lot of excitement around Dylan Carey, and rightfully so. But just to kind of list some of the guys that you're going to lose, Max Anderson, Bryce Matthews, Emmett Olson, right to the draft probably. Yep. Those 3 are the main ones. Then you're going to lose Charlie Fisher. You're going to lose Shea Shanneman, Casey Burnham. Well, Buns just into the portal. Kyle Perry, Griffin Everett, Efrain Cervantes, and Luke Sartori. So, I mean, there's not only some starters on that list in Casey Burnham, right? But there's bullpen arms in Buns, Kyle Perry, Shea Shanneman now.
It's a lot of
names. Friday guy.
That's a lot of names that you hear on the regular during a Nebraska baseball game.
I'm not sure. Can Jace Kaminska be your Friday night guy?
And he's at his best he can, but if you have to give him a month off in the middle of the season, again,
it just worries you. And now, are you?
Hey, you've got Will Walsh.
Well, Walsh, Will Walsh had the complete game shutout in the Big Ten tournament, but
does he hold up over a full season?
I would say just do that again. Just do that every time, please and thank you.
It's what's interesting is like, who do you go to now out of the bullpen? It's who are your guys out of the bullpen? who are your midweek starters? Now, a lot of those are younger guys at times, right? The midweek starters. We've seen Drew Christo be a midweek starter for 2 years now. Is he on the progression to become a weekend guy? I'm not sure. Where's Jackson Brockett? You lose CJ Hood as well. Hood was, don't forget, a Major League Baseball prospect coming out of high school at Norris, but then had an injury and kind of just dissipates and now is no longer part of the team and in the portal. So there's a lot of question marks, I think, about next year. Now, the good thing is we've seen this staff's ability to recruit. They have a lot of excitement coming in recruiting wise with younger guys. And throughout the portal, you got your DH and Charlie Fisher through the portal and things like that this season. So I think I looked at it as maybe not surprised, but a missed opportunity, because you would have felt like you could have, with the guys on this roster and some of the names that were in the bullpen, you knew you were going to have to find a Friday guy. You knew you had to find some other guys. But especially you saw what that team did in 2021 with Spencer Schwellenbach with one draft pick, right? And you look at it and those don't grow on trees. And you were fortunate enough now to have and develop 2 top 5, top 8 round picks. And unfortunately you're done playing by the end of May. And so I think it's a little frustrating.
Who's the core next?
Paul, go ahead. Go ahead. No. Go ahead. Bring. I was gonna tap into that, because I really then have a deeper question, and the deeper question for me goes into: does this go across programs, across sports, right? Because now we're understanding that there always, in some form or fashion, is going to be a large swath of potentially turnover in your program. So is there a system in the building of a program that can put you in position to continuously have success in the turnover era of sports in college program? So being that that's the case, is there a way of building it with foundational pieces, like you're saying, the ability to recruit, go in and get young players, have those system and program guys that are 3-4 year guys, and then also add pieces and build it? And is that cross program? Are we looking at that for football? Are we looking at that also in basketball, girls, women's sports, all of that? I really want to ask that deeper question. Is there a way to do it? Is there special sauce in the in the recipe that can be thrown in there to make it zesty and make it tasteful?
I would be interested, because obviously I think with baseball, you're going to lose close to, double digit guys every year. There's going to be guys that move on from your team nearing double digits, that 8 to 12 range every single season. Now, I also don't know. It really felt like the staff may have lost confidence in Jake Buns. And obviously there was some injury there, but there were multiple times throughout the Big Ten tournament where he was warming up and they elected to go with somebody else. And part of that's game management and time, and when you needed to make the change on the mound and matchups with lineups and things like that. And I understand that, but it just really felt like ever since number one, 2021 against Arkansas, and then just after the injury, he lost a little stuff on his fastball. He lost a little bit of velocity, and he started to get it back, I suppose, towards the end of the year. But just the I don't want to say clutch factor, but the ability to come in and slam the door didn't feel like it was there with Jake Buns or really anybody on this team, right? Anybody in that bullpen. So I'd be curious. I think to your point, Strick, I think this year there's going to be a lot of, with every sport, and this may be where the crossover happens, guys that decide to leave and guys that say are kind of told, hey man, it's probably best if you move on. We're going to go in a different direction.
I think the sauce is the same, where, especially in college, I think you're trying to thread that needle pretty tight, where you need good enough players that have a high enough, just talent coming in that they're going to be good college players, but not so good that they're going to get picked out from under you in the MLB draft out of high school. Because then once you have them on campus, you have them for 3 years.
Which is crazy, because, sorry to interrupt, but Drew Christo was that guy. Drew Christo's that guy. And people, I brought his name up in the earlier show. Chase Mason was that guy. And unfortunately, Chase Mason decides to move on from the program and go to football. But once again, Drew Christo's that guy. And he showed minor improvement this year. But I think this is a very important offseason ahead for him, because if he can carve out that Sunday maybe role, that's even that Sunday role where it's like, all right, this guy's going to come in, provide us 4, maybe 5 quality innings every single performance, or for the majority of them, to where we don't have to exhaust our bullpen after 2 or 3 innings and be playing from behind after the start of the game. That's what Nebraska's been looking for. The Shea Shannon of recent years.
Right. Those are good specific examples. And then to Strick's point, you need enough guys like that are talented enough, but that stick around.
Yeah.
Because then that gives you time with the next class.
Yeah.
And then they do that. So every year you're losing those guys that have been there, but you have guys that have already been in the program a year or two that are ready for their chance.
Yeah. And
it takes that one class setting that example, and then you got to prove you can consistently recruit and develop.
Well, and that was what was so crazy about that 2021 year. And I hate to keep, revisionist history, and we probably got to get out of here soon because we're taking up your guys' time.
Yeah,
but yeah, geez, what are we doing?
What's going on?
But this is actually a really good conversation.
Yeah, we're okay with good conversations, Nick.
Yeah. So
great conversations in the crossover is always.
I think what's fascinating about that 2021 year is that you had this blend of guys in like Joe Acker and Mojo Hagee, and obviously Luke Roskam was on that team. Griffin Everett was kind of coming into his own. He was a sophomore at the time, I believe. And so like you had these guys, obviously Spencer Swellenbach was there as well. But then you had Max Anderson, who kind of fell into Nebraska's lap. And I don't want to say that as a slight to Nebraska's coaching staff, but at the end of the day, it was Texas A&M for Max Anderson until he couldn't go to Texas A&M.
You can say it without being a slight.
Yeah,
it got lucky.
It wasn't a slight at all. It wasn't a slight at all. I don't mean it that way in the least. But Max Anderson comes in, has a freshman of the year. He is Big Ten freshman of the year. And you have this great blend of guys that were real experienced. Even a Logan Foster from Texas A&M, he transferred here for his final year of play. Didn't start in defensively, but he hit at the bottom of the lineup. Just kind of did his job. Wasn't an everyday guy for Nebraska, but just was kind of there in that in the clubhouse. You had this blend of real experienced guys, and then Max Anderson and this young crew.
And Bryce.
Yeah, and Bryce. And then after that, it was like, all right, Bryce, Max, Griffin Everett, you're kind of thrown into this. And
you are now leaders.
Yeah, figure out how to be that senior class, that fifth-year senior class of 2021. And I feel like Nebraska is still trying to figure that out, because not that I think that's something to be, said for is that it's difficult to try to tell a sophomore class to be a fifth-year senior class. And that's one thing I think Nebraska has lacked over these last couple of years.
And is that what you're going to have to do next year with Carey, with Karen, and then who else is the core? Gabe Swanson?
Yeah.
Maybe Garrett Anglim if he's healthy?
Yeah, that's just so difficult. That's so difficult, because then it's like, are you asking too much of Dylan Carey?
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking too much? You could argue that maybe Nebraska asked too much of Max and Bryce right off the bat, but it ended up panning out. And they grew into it.
They stepped up to the plate the next season, and that might happen again this next year, where you might have a down year, and then the next year you'll be good, but then maybe you put yourself in the same situation the year after that.
But what does that mean for the coaching?
You might put yourself into a vicious cycle of this, and that's going to be the problem with losing so many people and bringing so many people in via the transfer portal. And it might sound weird, but having guys play at such a high level that when they are draft eligible, that they will go into the draft. Like, you can have guys play at a high enough level that you have success at the collegiate ranks and you as a team work, but maybe they're not high enough where they're going to get drafted in the first 8 rounds and end up leaving.
I just think something that was
the lineup depth.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that Will Bolt said immediately after their loss on Saturday, was that what they're going to do is just general roster depth. It just felt like, and so I think when you look at a lot of times in baseball, it's like, especially towards the end of the Big Ten tournament, and if you find yourself in a regional, right? And if you are unlucky or you're unable to be undefeated and get that day off, like Nebraska was last week, you need somebody to step up that you didn't really expect to step up. Will Walsh was that guy last week. But when you look at potential, like a regional team, and you look back at that 2021 team, I will never forget the gut that Kyle Perry had. The gut that Kyle Perry had coming off that first Tommy John surgery. And he comes in against Arkansas in I can't remember, did he start the game against Arkansas? It was like a bullpen game.
It was
game 6 or 7.
I believe it was a bullpen.
It would have been game 6. It was the one they won.
Yeah, I think that one was a bullpen game because I think they were saving.
He came in and he just slammed the door. He just did his job. And it was like this guy that is first time back or first appearance back is going up against the national number 1 seed and just laying it all out there. I mean, just a gutsy performance. And you just had guys step up, whether it was like a Mojo Hagee, whether it was obviously Spencer Schwellenbach was always there, but it's like somebody was always there, whether it was Jackson Hallmark just doing his job out of the leadoff spot where it's like, it's not pretty. That's where the whole gritty over pretty thing came.
Yep.
And it feels like teams since then have wanted to adapt that mantra, but don't necessarily have the guys to adapt that mantra or adopt that mantra. So
they want to play that small ball. They want to be gritty, but they don't have the guys that.
There's a few of them.
It's not saying that the guys aren't gritty. It just doesn't. It just doesn't work for whatever reason. And I mean, this year's team was a strong team. They're hitting the ball out of the park, day after day.
There's a few of them. There's a few of them there, but I just think the one thing about that made that 2021 roster so special was that it was from top to bottom. It was top to bottom. Starters and bullpen.
Every single last one.
So, all right. Well, that'll do it. What's coming up on the show, Austin?
It's decision day, college basketball and NBA draft decisions. A lot of interesting ones in the Big Ten. We'll talk some more baseball with Evan Bland. 3 o'clock hour is going to be fun. Colorado's back talking to the Big 12.
Yeah.
What does that mean for them, the Pac-12? Then just a little NBA shoot-around. We haven't talked about Bob Myers leaving Golden State, Nick Nurse being hired by Philly, and just today, Detroit's interested in Monty Williams. What does that mean?
Good stuff. All right, stick around on the block. Strick and Austin, great crossover conversation, gentlemen. Strick, have a great time in Dallas. We'll talk to you guys soon, but that'll do it for myself and Rico on the block. Strick and Austin coming up next. See ya.
Adios.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and we are celebrating a record sales month. And we're going to link up in the May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this month on selected new in-stock Sierras and Silverados. Buy a new Silverado or Sierra, get $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. You heard right, $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our new and pre-owned GM certified units. So stop on in and see us or check us out online at coppellcars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount must trade in and finance with the roof credit.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL A and B driver. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes nothing their bonus program. Build a better culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more